Good morning, y'all. We're going to be making some fried tenderized pork and gravy this morning. I got some tenderized pork here. I have cut these in half. These were bigger. This was actually right here. This was one piece of meat, and I cut it in half so it'll be in smaller portions. And did this with three different pieces of pork. And like I said, this is fried tenderized pork. We're going to dip this pork in this here flour. We're going to drop it in this flour like this right here. Then we're going to go to our egg mixture. We're going to dip it in our egg mixture. Let that run off a little bit. We're going to drop her back in the flour. Get her coated on the flour. Then we're going to see if our grease is hot enough. See about putting this here in the hot grease. So we're just going to put it in there. If it ain't ready, we'll just live with it. But hopefully it is. Okay, it's got a little sizzle going there. Now we're going to dip another one in the flour. This flour, I put salt and pepper in it. When you're infusing your flour, you have to put a lot in it. And I used coarse ground pepper. You can see it more. Like sometimes you go to restaurants and order food and you see really big pepper flakes. It's because they're using the coarse ground pepper. It's more visible. It's more pleasing to the eye. If you're a pepper person, if you're not a pepper person, then it's probably not pleasing to you because you don't like pepper. But this is how we're breading our tenderized pork. In the flour, then in the egg, then back in the flour. And this makes a really good piece of meat. And after we get this here stuff fried up, we are going to make some gravy for it. And we're going to have some tenderized pork and gravy. Like most restaurants you go to, if you order a tenderloin and gravy biscuit here in the South, most restaurants you go to, they're using tenderized pork. They are not using tenderloin because tenderloin is more expensive. It's a smaller cut of meat. It's a real long, skinny piece of meat, and it's really tenderloin. But this is not tenderloin. This is just cube pork, tenderized pork. So we're going to let that go right there. We got those three in the fryer. This is what it's looking like right here. What we did is we put vegetable oil in our pan, and then I added some bacon grease to the vegetable oil to infuse the vegetable oil with some more flavor. So when you're cooking your meat, you got some more flavor in there for that countryness. It does good sometimes, like when you're cooking something, is to rotate your meat, move it in the pan, because lots of times the hottest spot in your pan is your center. So if you rotate it and move it around a little bit, it'll make your meat cook more even. It don't usually take a real long time to cook this here tenderized pork, and you can peek at it. Take your fork and pick it up and look under the bottom of it to see if it's ready to flip. So you don't do a bunch of unnecessary flipping. And tongs work really good as far as flipping this stuff. You don't have as much splash like if you try to flip it with a fork. Just get them flipped over and let her sit and get them pretty brown like that right there. And it'll be ready to sit to the side and make some gravy. Okay, y'all, and you can, when you get it, we done flipped it one time, so then you can flip it, pick it up like that and look and see if it's pretty and brown. And if you got one of these fancy highfalutin things here, you can poke it. And that's saying it's 171 degrees, so that's plenty done there. And then we can take it out and put it in a pan. All right, y'all, we're going to cut this burner off, because when you're cooking stuff like this with this breaded flour stuff, you can't leave your burner on if you don't have anything in there, because it'll burn your flour in the bottom of your pan. So we're going to get this here stuff off and put it up here on this here rack and let it drip, cool down a little bit. And there's a look at the other side if you want to see the other side we just cooked. Isn't that pretty? That is like so pretty. That is so delicious. We're going to make some gravy for this stuff, y'all. Okay, y'all, we're gonna make some gravy here. We got some Southern biscuit flour, self-rising flour. Just gonna get uh, a good dollop of it. You might put a little more than that. Just put it. Now, this is making gravy different than other people make it on YouTube. But you know, there's enough ways in the world for everybody to have one. This is contrary to using the pan that you cook the meat in and all this, but you always use cold water when you're making your gravy, and you add your cold water and you have your whisk, and you can turn your burner on. I'm turning my burner on now. I got cold water. I'm going to add cold water, and I'm going to whisk this flour. All it is just plain flour, and I'm adding cold water to it. And I'm probably got about 3 cups of water here. I'm going to stop right there. Probably used about 1.5 cups just in. And you just whisk your flour. You can add salt. Add your salt to your flour. I know this is totally different than everybody else, but I got a lot of oil in my pan over there, and this is how I make gravy lots of times, because I can dip it out of my pot, and if I don't eat all my gravy, I can put a lid on it, and it ain't sitting in no frying pan. And if you're serving and everybody keeps coming back, you got a pot with a lid on it. So I'm whisking this here flour, and basically it's lumpless right now, if you want to call it that. Then all you do, instead of doing like people using their pan to make the gravy in, you just take the grease. You take some of your grease and your drippings. Just you same idea. Just you're doing it in a pot. You know, I'm getting my drippings here. I guess y'all getting to see this. I'm getting the drippings out of the pan and the grease, and I'm putting some in my flour. So what I'm doing is I'm infusing this flour with flavor. I'm gonna stop right there as far as grease goes, because I don't want it to be all grease. Then all you do is just whisk this grease and flour up, and see my flour is already starting to turn some. This is mighty messy looking with me trying to show you like. So I'm going to add some more water to this now. Y'all can see it's already starting to thicken up, but you just whisk it, and you can taste your gravy too. Just keep whisking it so it doesn't stick and all that kind of stuff to the bottom. And once you get it to the consistency you want it, you don't want it to keep sitting here simmering, because it's going to have to keep adding water and keep adding water. But this is how you do it. All right, we're going to whisk it some more. It's bubbling good. We're going to give it a taste, see what it's tasting like. I know y'all like taste tests and stuff, so let's hit it one time. All right. That is so good. I can taste that grease and those drippings flavor from them tenderized pork. That is some kind of good. And like I said, this is a little different than everybody else because I'm not using my frying pan, but this makes really good gravy too. And like I said, you got a lid on it, and you can serve it ever how you want to. I turn my burner down on low now, because once you get it going, I mean, you can have your burner on high to start off with, but then you turn your burner down on low because the flour sets up so fast, so you don't want it getting away from you. You always have to keep going with this, but it don't take long. Like, this gravy is ready right now to eat. All right, y'all, we got a little butter in the pan. We're going to add some eggs to this here. We're going to make us a little breakfast plate with this here tenderloin, tenderized pork meat here. We're going to have something yummy for you to show y'all. Let's add a little salt to these eggs. A little salt. Let's add a little McCormick black pepper, because we love black pepper. We're going to move these around a little bit. I don't eat sunny side up. Nobody in my house does, so we're more of a. And I like a fried egg, but I like it well done. No raw eggs. That's how it's looking. All right, y'all. Let me throw a little lump in the picture. I like instant grits. This is what I like. This is my favorite grits. I like to get the butter. All you do is put a half a cup of water per pack of grits. And I add butter. I put butter in this water. I put salt and pepper in this water. And then all you do is whisk them in. And this is really fast grits. This is what I like. I love grits. I was raised on grits. But as far as cooking them forever, the real grits, I don't do it. But these are so yummy. Once your grits get about right, it don't take long. They get thick pretty quick. It's kind of like gravy. They go really quick. But you just got to keep them stirred because they'll stick. But once they get done, it ain't like you got to sit there and let them simmer. Because these right here will be soft. They won't be hard and crunchy. So these will be really good. Okay, y'all, I'm going to show y'all something pretty now. I am not going to wait for these grits. If you let grits sit, they'll firm up. But I'm not going to wait for these grits to firm up. Because I'm ready to eat. So we're just going to put a spoonful of them up there. There's your tenderized pork, cube pork, whatever you want to call it. Eggs, grits. And then we're going to top it. Top this here tenderized pork with this here homemade gravy, whatever kind of what y'all want to call y'all's gravy. This is gravy here. This is white gravy. So this is going to be a deluxe country southern breakfast. And if y'all like it, y'all can put gravy all over your eggs, your grits. You can do it all. But you talking about something good. That is some good country eating. If you could, we'd like y'all to like, subscribe, comment. And we sure appreciate y'all watching and hope you enjoyed.